Hello. If you're settling in for the evening, or perhaps you're seeking something to ease your mind before rest, you've found the right place. What I'm about to share with you is about the 1/3 of your life you spend in a state that remains, despite centuries of scientific study, fundamentally mysterious. Your dreams. Tonight, or perhaps some other night when you're ready, you'll enter this state again, and you'll experience things that defy logic, that feel more real than reality sometimes, and that your waking mind will work hard to forget. There are 50 things about this nightly experience that might shift how you think about those hours when you're supposedly unconscious. So settle in, let time slip away for a while. Forget about the day behind you and the obligations ahead. This is an invitation to explore the landscape of your sleeping mind. Let's begin. 1. You forget about 90% of your dreams within minutes of waking. The moment your eyes open, your dreams begin to dissolve. Not gradually, but almost instantly. Within 5 minutes of waking, you've lost about half of what you dreamed. Within 10 minutes, you've forgotten roughly 90%. It's as if your brain is programmed to erase the record. The neurochemistry of your sleeping brain is fundamentally different from your waking brain. During REM sleep, when most vivid dreams occur, your brain produces very little norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter crucial for memory formation. Without it, the dream simply can't be encoded into your long-term memory. You wake up with only vague impressions, fragmented images, and emotions that feel real but whose origins you can't quite place. The few dreams you do remember are typically those where you wake up during or immediately after the dream occurs. The moment consciousness returns and norepinephrine production kicks back up, the window for dream memory closes. This is why dream journals have become popular. If you write down your dream immediately upon waking, you're racing against your brain's natural inclination to forget. 2. Your dreams mostly occur during a specific stage of sleep, but not the only stage. There's a common misconception that all dreams happen during REM sleep. The truth is more nuanced. REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep, is when your most vivid narrative dreams occur. But dreams happen in other sleep stages too. During non-REM sleep, you experience more thought-like dreams, more abstract, more conceptual. These dreams feel less like movies and more like ideas. However, the dreams you remember, the ones that feel real and emotional and visual, those predominantly occur during REM sleep. Your brain cycles through different sleep stages in roughly 90-minute intervals throughout the night. Early in the night, you spend more time in deep, non-REM sleep. As the night progresses, your REM periods become longer and more frequent. By the time morning approaches, you might spend as much as 45 minutes in a single REM period. This is why your most vivid dreams typically occur in the early morning hours, right before you wake. Your brain hasn't forgotten how to dream yet, and your consciousness is approaching, sometimes even bleeding into your dream, creating that strange state where you half know you're dreaming. 3. You experience paralysis during your dreams, but your brain prevents you from acting them out. During REM sleep, your brain does something remarkable and necessary. It paralyzes your body. Your voluntary muscles become essentially offline. This state is called REM atonia, and it exists for a very good reason. While your brain is generating vivid dreams, creating scenarios where you might be running, fighting, or falling, your body remains still. If this didn't happen, you'd act out your dreams. You'd be flailing in bed, striking out at imaginary threats, potentially hurling yourself out windows or injuring yourself and anyone sleeping nearby. This paralysis is maintained by signals from a part of your brain called the pons, which inhibits motor neurons. In most people, this system works perfectly. Your eyes move rapidly under closed lids, blood pressure rises, heart rate increases, but your body remains immobilized. However, in some people, this system malfunctions. This creates a condition called REM behavior disorder, where people act out their dreams. They might punch, kick, or jump out of bed while fully asleep. The dream feels completely real to them, and their body responds as if the dream world is reality. There's also the opposite problem. Sometimes people wake up, but the paralysis persists. You're conscious, aware of your surroundings, but completely unable to move. This is sleep paralysis, and it's terrifying. 4. Sleep paralysis often comes with hallucinations that feel completely real. When sleep paralysis occurs, it typically doesn't happen in isolation. Your brain, caught between sleep and wakefulness, doesn't just paralyze you, it also generates hallucinations. The most common hallucination during sleep paralysis is a sense of a threatening presence in the room. People report feeling like someone is in the room with them, standing nearby, watching them. Some people report seeing shadowy figures. Some report feeling a pressure on their chest, as if something heavy is sitting on them. Some report hearing sounds, voices, or a buzzing noise. All of this feels completely real. Your brain isn't generating vague impressions. It's creating sensory experiences indistinguishable from reality. Cultures around the world have their own explanations for this experience. In some cultures, it's demons. In others, it's ghosts. In some, it's supernatural entities that attack sleepers. What's fascinating is that these cultural explanations persist despite modern medical understanding of the phenomenon. People wake up from sleep paralysis convinced they've experienced something otherworldly, not a malfunction of their sleep-wake cycle. The experience is so convincing that no amount of rational explanation seems to diminish its power. Once you've experienced sleep paralysis with hallucinations, you understand why, throughout history, people have believed in supernatural visitations during sleep. 5. You can dream in black and white, but modern humans rarely do. There's an interesting phenomenon with older studies on dream color. When researchers asked people in the 1950s about their dreams, about 75% reported dreaming in black and white. When researchers ask people today, only about 12% report black and white dreams. The most likely explanation is that people's dreams reflect their waking visual experience. In the 1950s, most people spent most of their waking hours in a world of black and white media. Television was black and white. Movies were black and white. Photographs were black and white. The visual world people were encoding into their brains was predominantly grayscale. Today, you're surrounded by color. Your phone has a color screen. Your television broadcasts in color. Your photographs are color. Your visual cortex is constantly processing color information. Your dreams, then, unsurprisingly, are in color. But this raises a fascinating question about dream reality. When a person in the 1950s dreamed in black and white, did their dream feel real? Did it feel incomplete somehow? Or did it feel perfectly normal because it matched their waking visual world? When you dream in color, does it feel more real because it matches waking reality? Or would you dream in color regardless, because that's simply how your visual cortex generates images during sleep? 6. Most of your dreams are unpleasant. This might seem surprising, but research consistently shows that most dreams are not positive. When researchers wake people during REM sleep and ask them to describe their dreams, the majority of the dreams contain some element of negativity, conflict, or anxiety. Dreams involving aggression, threats, or failure are remarkably common. Positive dreams are in the minority. The most common emotions reported in dreams are fear, anxiety, sadness, and anger. Joy, happiness, and contentment appear far less frequently. This pattern holds across cultures and demographics. It's not specific to traumatized individuals or people with anxiety disorders. Even healthy, happy people report predominantly negative or stressful dreams. The reason for this isn't entirely clear. One theory is that dreams are a kind of threat simulation. Your brain is running through scenarios, practicing responses to threats and challenges. From an evolutionary perspective, if your brain spends sleep time simulating worst-case scenarios, you'd be better prepared for actual threats when you encounter them. Your dreaming mind is essentially doing threat rehearsal. You're facing down whatever challenges or threats your brain perceives as relevant, and you're practicing responses. The fact that most dreams are unpleasant might actually indicate that your brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. 7. You have about 4 to 6 dreams every single night. Even though you only remember 1 or 2, you're actually dreaming constantly throughout the night. Every time you enter REM sleep, which happens multiple times, you experience a dream. With roughly 4 to 6 REM periods per night, that's 4 to 6 dreams. The first REM period of the night might last only 10 minutes. By the last one, before you wake, it might last 45 minutes or longer. This means you're generating dozens of hours of dream content every week, most of which you'll never remember. Consider what this means. Every night, your brain is running through scenarios, generating narratives, processing experiences and emotions. All of this mental activity happens outside your conscious awareness. You wake up believing you slept peacefully, perhaps remembering one vague dream, having no idea that your brain spent the night actively generating multiple complex narratives. This happens whether you're aware of it or not, whether you remember it or not. Your brain is doing this work regardless. Some researchers suggest that forgotten dreams are still serving their function. Maybe the value of dreams doesn't depend on remembering them. Maybe the benefit happens during sleep itself, in how the brain processes and consolidates information. 8. Dreams can feel like they last for hours, but they occur in real time. There's a pervasive belief that time moves differently in dreams, that you can experience what feels like hours of dreaming in minutes of actual time. The truth is more interesting. Dreams occur in real time. If you have a 45-minute REM period, your dream takes 45 minutes. You're not experiencing accelerated time. However, the subjective experience of time within the dream can feel distorted. When you wake and recall a dream, the memory of that dream might feel compressed or expanded depending on how you're recalling it. Additionally, within a dream, your sense of time can feel disrupted. You might have a dream that feels episodic, with multiple seemingly separate scenes or events, and your waking mind interprets this as having lasted longer than it actually did. But the dream itself, the generation of it, takes the actual time. Your brain isn't generating a day's worth of experience in 5 minutes. That's neurologically impossible. The content of your visual cortex can only generate images and narratives at the speed that your neurons can fire. What's happening instead is more subtle. Your temporal awareness within the dream is compromised. Time markers are absent or confused. You might not notice transitions between events. You might skip forward without realizing it. When you wake and try to reconstruct the dream, your waking mind tries to impose order on something that doesn't follow waking temporal logic. 9. You cannot read or tell time in dreams. Try reading something in a dream or looking at a clock. You'll find that it's almost impossible, or rather, it's possible, but the content keeps changing. This is one of the most reliable ways to recognize you're dreaming. Lucid dreamers use this as a test. When you look at text in a dream, it shifts and changes. You read a sentence, look away, and when you look back, it says something different. Clocks are even worse. You look at a clock and see a specific time. You look away and look back, and the time has changed arbitrarily. Sometimes the clock has numbers in wrong positions. Sometimes it has too many hands. The reason for this is that your brain's language and numerical processing areas work very differently during dreams than during waking. During REM sleep, blood flow to your prefrontal cortex, which is crucial for language processing, is reduced. Your brain is also not receiving real sensory input. It's generating language and text from memory and expectation, but without the precise control that waking language processing requires. The result is that text in dreams is unstable. This phenomenon has practical applications. If you're trying to become a lucid dreamer, someone aware they're dreaming while dreaming, one technique is to look at text or a clock repeatedly. When you see that it keeps changing, you'll realize you're dreaming. Once you realize you're dreaming, you can take control of the dream. 10. Lucid dreaming is a real phenomenon that researchers can detect with brain imaging. For decades, lucid dreaming was considered pseudoscience or imagination. But modern neuroscience has confirmed that lucid dreaming is a real, distinct state. When people are lucid dreaming, their brain shows a unique pattern of activity. They have activation in areas associated with self-awareness and metacognition, the ability to think about thinking. They simultaneously maintain the visual and narrative generation of REM sleep while having conscious awareness and self-reflection. Brain imaging shows that lucid dreamers have activity in their anterior prefrontal cortex and parietal areas that is more similar to waking than to typical REM sleep. They're in a hybrid state, half dreaming, half aware. Lucid dreamers report being able to control their dreams, to choose where to go, what to do, sometimes what to experience. Some describe the experience as intensely realistic and vivid, more real than waking. Others describe it as feeling like you're in a movie where you're the director and the main character simultaneously. The interesting thing about lucid dreaming is that it seems to be trainable. People can learn to become lucid dreamers through practice. The most successful techniques involve reality checks during the day and intention setting before sleep. People who practice lucid dreaming report that over time, they become lucid more frequently. Some researchers have even conducted experiments where lucid dreamers signal from within their dreams using predetermined eye movements. Because the eyes do move slightly during REM sleep, lucid dreamers can move their eyes in specific patterns to indicate they're aware they're dreaming. The signals reliably appear, confirming that lucid awareness is indeed occurring during the dream. 11. Your dreams often contain coherent narratives, but with bizarre logic. Your dreams have a story. There's usually a plot, characters, settings, events that unfold. But the logic of your dreams is not waking logic. In a dream, you might be in your childhood home that is somehow also your workplace. You might be talking to someone who is simultaneously your friend and a complete stranger. You might be flying, or breathing underwater, or doing things that should be impossible, but in the dream, you accept it as normal. Your dreaming brain is not applying the rules of waking reality. Your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logic and reasoning in waking life, is less active during REM sleep. Meanwhile, your visual cortex and emotional centers are highly active. Your brain is generating narrative, but without the constraining influence of logical reasoning. This is why your dreams can contain impossible scenarios that feel perfectly normal while you're experiencing them. You only recognize the impossibility after you wake. While dreaming, you don't question it. Your friend is also a stranger? Sure, okay. You can breathe water? No problem. You're in two places at once? That's fine. Your dreaming brain simply generates the narrative, and your experience follows along without questioning the premise. This is sometimes called dream logic, and it's one of the defining characteristics of the dreaming state. It's also one of the reasons why dreams feel qualitatively different from waking thought. In waking thought, you're constantly checking your ideas against reality and logic. In dreams, you're not doing that checking. 12. Animals dream too, and they likely dream about their daily experiences. Dogs twitch and paddle their paws in their sleep. Cats sometimes make hunting movements. Birds fluff their feathers and move their heads as if looking around. These are clear signs that animals are experiencing REM sleep, and therefore probably dreaming. The question of what animals dream about is harder to answer definitively, but researchers have some clues. Studies on laboratory rats showed that when rats were learning to navigate a maze, Their brain activity during sleep showed patterns similar to the patterns seen when the rat was actually running the maze. It's as if the rat was replaying the day's experiences. This suggests that the rat was dreaming about the maze, practicing the route, processing what it had learned. If rats are doing this, it's reasonable to assume that many animals with similar brain structures are doing the same thing. Your dog is likely dreaming about the walk you took, the squirrel it chased, the people it played with. Your cat is probably dreaming about hunting or playing or whatever occupied its day. The content of animal dreams probably doesn't include abstract thoughts or symbolic processing like human dreams might, but it likely includes sensory replays of significant experiences. This dream replay might serve the same consolidation function in animals that it serves in humans. The animal's brain is processing and integrating the day's experiences into long-term memory. For an animal whose survival depends on learning quickly, this might be crucial. 13. People who are born. Deaf have different dream experiences than people who can hear. Deaf people dream, but the sensory content of their dreams is different. Deaf people who use sign language report dreaming in sign language. They see themselves signing, they see others signing. The visual linguistic content of their dreams is sign language, not spoken language. Interestingly, deaf people who became deaf after they learned to speak report sometimes hearing spoken language in their dreams, at least early in their deafness. Over time, as they adapted to being deaf, their dream content shifted toward more visual content. What's fascinating is that this suggests dreams are not universal sensory experiences. They're tailored to the sensory systems that are active and relevant in waking life. If you don't use hearing in waking life, your dreams don't include auditory content. If you use sign language as your primary language, that's what appears in your dreams. This supports the theory that dreams are largely a replay and processing of waking experiences. Your brain generates dream content based on the sensory and cognitive content that matters in your waking life. 14. People who are born blind don't have visual dreams, but they have rich sensory dreams. People who are blind from birth do not see in their dreams. They've never had visual experiences, so their brain has no visual content to generate, but they do dream. Their dreams are rich with other sensory content. They dream sounds, tactile sensations, emotions, narratives. Interestingly, people who became blind after they had visual experiences often continue to have visual dreams. At least for some time, they continue to see in their dreams even though they can't see in waking life. Over time, this often fades as the memories of vision become more distant and less integrated into their daily experience. This raises interesting questions about consciousness and sensory experience. If you've never experienced vision, you don't miss it in your dreams. Your consciousness generates experience based on what your brain knows. If your brain has no visual experience to draw from, it doesn't generate visual dreams. Dreams aren't some universal template. They're personalized based on your experiences and your neurology. 15. Your dreams seem to reflect your concerns and preoccupations. If you're worried about something, you're likely to dream about it. If you're learning something new, you'll probably dream about it. Your dreams seem to be drawn from the content that's most active in your mind. Someone stressed about an upcoming presentation might dream about giving the presentation, or variations on it, or scenarios involving public speaking. Someone learning to play an instrument might dream about music or their fingers moving or performing. The theory is that your brain is processing whatever is most emotionally significant or cognitively demanding. Your dreams are essentially your brain's way of working through what matters to you. This has practical implications. If you're dealing with a difficult problem, your brain might generate dream scenarios that offer solutions or perspectives. People have reported waking from dreams with creative solutions to problems they were struggling with. The dreams served as a kind of creative brainstorming. your brain generating possibilities without the constraints of waking logic. This might be why sleep is supposed to help with problem solving. During sleep, your brain is actively processing challenges through dreams. By morning, you might have perspective you didn't have before. 16. Nightmares become more frequent with stress, anxiety, or trauma. The proportion of unpleasant dreams increases when you're stressed or anxious. If you're dealing with a difficult situation, your nightmares increase. This is your brain doing threat simulation at an increased rate. You're rehearsing responses to threats, processing anxiety. After a traumatic event, nightmares often become extremely frequent and intense. In post-traumatic stress disorder, people sometimes experience repetitive nightmares where they relive aspects of the trauma. These aren't random bad dreams. They're your brain replaying the traumatic experience, trying to process it. The nightmare might involve the exact scenario that occurred, or variations on it, or symbolic representations of the trauma. Unlike normal dreams that fade upon waking, trauma-related nightmares tend to be remembered vividly. They're emotionally intense enough that they stick in memory. Someone with PTSD might wake from a nightmare, go back to sleep, and have similar nightmares multiple times per night. The repetition is frustrating and exhausting. Interestingly, treatments for PTSD-related nightmares have been developed. Imagery rehearsal therapy involves rewriting the nightmare while awake, changing aspects of it, making it less threatening. If someone practices this revised version while awake, they sometimes find that their actual dreams shift to match the revised version. Their brain seems to adopt the new narrative. 17. The length of your REM periods increases throughout the night. Early in the night, your REM periods are short. The first REM period might last only 5 to 10 minutes, but as the night progresses, each subsequent REM period is longer. By the time you're near the end of your sleep, you might have REM periods lasting 45 minutes or more. This is why your most vivid dreams, the ones you actually remember, typically occur in the early morning hours. You have longer REM periods, so you have longer, more complex dreams. You're also closer to consciousness, so there's a better chance of remembering upon waking. This pattern is consistent across all humans. It's part of the architecture of sleep itself. Each cycle of sleep, from light sleep through deep sleep and back to REM, takes about 90 minutes. Within that cycle, REM comes at the end. Over the course of a full night of sleep, you complete about 4 to 6 of these cycles. The REM portions of those cycles get progressively longer. The last cycle of the night will include the longest and most intense REM period. This is why you should try to allow yourself full sleep cycles if you can. If you wake up in the middle of a sleep cycle, you interrupt the progression. You cut short what would have been a longer REM period. This might be one reason why people who sleep only 4 to 5 hours report remembering fewer dreams. They're not completing enough cycles to reach those longer, more memorable REM periods. 18. You dream about familiar people far more than strangers. When you dream about other people, they're usually people you know. They might be family members, friends, colleagues, people from your life. Strangers appear in dreams, but much less frequently. And even when strangers appear in dreams, they're often playing roles or representing something. The familiar people in your dreams are typically people you interact with regularly or who are emotionally significant. The people you have conflict with might appear in your dreams. People you're attracted to might appear in your dreams. People you're worried about might appear in your dreams. Your dreaming mind seems to be working through your significant relationships. This makes sense from a psychological perspective. Your dreams are processing and working through what matters to you emotionally. If someone is important in your life, they're likely to appear in your dreams. They might be the subject of the dream, or they might play supporting roles, but they're present in your dreamscape. 19. You're more likely to dream about threatening or emotional situations than ordinary events. Your brain doesn't dream equally about everything in your life. You're more likely to dream about emotionally significant events or threatening situations. You're unlikely to dream about brushing your teeth or doing routine work tasks unless something emotionally charged is associated with them, but you're very likely to dream about an argument or a scary situation or something that provoked an emotional response. Your dreaming brain is prioritizing emotional content. This makes sense evolutionarily. The experiences that are most important to process and consolidate are those that carry emotional weight or survival significance. Routine, neutral experiences don't need as much processing. Emotionally significant or potentially threatening experiences do. Your brain is optimizing which memories to consolidate and which to let fade. The things that matter most get priority. The things that matter least get forgotten. 20. Most people have recurring dreams at least occasionally. A recurring dream is one where the same dream repeats, often multiple times or periodically. Most people report having had at least one recurring dream at some point in their lives. Some people have recurring dreams for years or even their entire lives. The content of recurring dreams varies widely. Some people have recurring nightmares. Some have recurring dreams that are neutral or even positive. The recurring dream might be exactly the same each time, or it might have variations on the same theme. The leading theory is that recurring dreams are your brain's way of signaling that something isn't resolved. Something in your life or your psychology isn't being properly processed. Your brain keeps returning to the same scenario, hoping each time that you'll gain insight or reach resolution. If you have a recurring dream, paying attention to it might be informative. What's the theme? What emotions are involved? What's not being resolved? Sometimes simply gaining insight into what the dream might represent can cause the dream to stop recurring. Once your brain feels like it's been adequately addressed, it stops generating the dream. 21. Pregnancy dramatically alters dream content and frequency. Pregnant women report more dreams, more vivid dreams, and dreams with different content. The dreams often involve pregnancy, birth, babies, or themes related to motherhood and responsibility. Sleep patterns change during pregnancy, particularly in the later stages. Pregnant women spend more time in REM sleep. They're also more likely to wake during the night. This combination means they're more likely to wake during or shortly after REM periods, meaning they're more likely to remember their dreams. The dreams themselves shift in content. Pregnant women report more dreams involving water, more dreams about babies, more dreams involving anxiety or fear about birth or parenting. The dreams seem to be processing the enormous change that's about to happen. After birth, when sleep patterns return to something closer to normal, the dream content and frequency also return to baseline. The pregnancy-related dreams fade. This suggests that pregnancy dreams are specifically related to the pregnancy experience. The psychological and physical changes of pregnancy are triggering specific dream content. 22. Certain medications can suppress or alter dreams. Some medications interfere with REM sleep or alter the neurochemistry during REM sleep, leading to changes in dreams. Antidepressants, for instance, are known to suppress REM sleep. People taking antidepressants often report fewer dreams or less vivid dreams. Beta blockers, often used for heart conditions and anxiety, can also affect dream content and frequency. Some medications might make dreams more intense or more vivid. Certain anti-inflammatory medications have been associated with vivid dreams or nightmares. The reason is that these medications are interfering with the neurochemistry that governs sleep, because dreams are so dependent on specific neurotransmitter patterns. Anything that alters those patterns will alter dreams. If you've noticed a change in your dream pattern after starting a new medication, this is a normal side effect for many medications. If it's problematic, discussing it with your prescribing doctor might result in adjusting the medication or the timing of the dose. 23. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep early in the night, but can trigger intense REM sleep later. Alcohol is a sedative that makes you fall asleep faster, but it has a complex effect on sleep architecture. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep in the first half of the night. You fall asleep more quickly, but you get less REM sleep. However, as the alcohol is metabolized throughout the night, REM sleep rebounds. In the second half of the night, you might experience more intense REM sleep than normal, leading to more vivid dreams or nightmares. This is one reason why people who drink before bed might not sleep well. They might fall asleep quickly, but their sleep quality is poor due to the disrupted sleep architecture. They might wake during the intense REM rebound in the second half of the night. They might remember disturbing dreams. Regular alcohol use disrupts sleep repeatedly, leading to chronic poor sleep and disturbed dreams. Some people use alcohol to help them fall asleep initially, but they pay the price with disrupted, poor quality sleep and strange dreams later in the night. 24. Your body temperature influences your dreams. Your core body temperature fluctuates throughout the night, and this affects your sleep quality and dreams. When your body temperature is too high or too low, your REM sleep is disrupted. If your bedroom is too warm, your REM sleep might be fragmented. If your bedroom is too cold, the same thing happens. Your brain is trying to maintain stable body temperature while also managing sleep. When temperature regulation is compromised, something has to give, and often it's REM sleep. You might not wake up, but your REM periods might be shorter or less stable. This means fewer or less vivid dreams. This is one practical reason why maintaining a comfortable sleep temperature is important. A bedroom temperature around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit is considered optimal for sleep for most people. This temperature allows your body to maintain its optimal core temperature throughout the night without working too hard at temperature regulation. If your bedroom is comfortable for sleeping, your REM sleep will be better, and your dreams might be more vivid and memorable. 25. Caffeine can affect your dreams. By disrupting sleep quality, caffeine is a stimulant that blocks adenosine receptors in your brain, preventing the buildup of sleep pressure. If you consume caffeine late in the day, it remains in your system during your normal sleep time. Caffeine doesn't necessarily prevent you from falling asleep, but it can reduce sleep quality and disrupt REM sleep. You might sleep lighter, wake more easily, and spend less time in REM sleep. Less REM sleep means fewer or less vivid dreams. Interestingly, if your sleep is disrupted by caffeine, you're more likely to wake during REM periods and remember dreams, but the dreams might be less vivid or less complete because your REM periods are being interrupted. The practical implication is that if you want good dream recall and vivid dreams, avoiding caffeine after early afternoon is beneficial. Caffeine takes 6 to 8 hours to clear your system, so that afternoon coffee might still be affecting your sleep and dreams when you go to bed. 26. You're more likely to dream about someone you recently encountered than someone you haven't seen in years. Recency matters in dream content. People you've seen recently are more likely to appear in your dreams. People you haven't thought about in years might appear in dreams occasionally, but they're less likely than recently encountered people. This supports the theory that dreams are processing recent experiences and current concerns. Your brain is working through the people and situations you've been engaged with recently. This is one reason why after you have a significant interaction with someone, you might dream about them that night. Your brain is processing the interaction, replaying it, exploring it from different angles. If you have a conversation or encounter that provokes an emotional response, you're very likely to dream about that person that night. 27. Your dreams might include future planning or problem solving. There's evidence suggesting that dreams might involve some degree of future planning or scenario generation. Your brain might be simulating future possibilities, exploring what-if scenarios, considering different outcomes. When people report having dream-based solutions to waking problems, this might be an example of the brain's dreaming state generating possibilities that the waking mind hadn't considered. The dream state freed from the constraints of waking logic, generates more possibilities. Some of these possibilities might actually be useful. This is one reason that people recommend sleeping on a problem. By sleeping on it, you're giving your dreaming brain a chance to work through the problem in a different way. By morning, you might have perspective or ideas you didn't have before. The sleep itself isn't magic. It's your brain working on the problem during REM sleep in ways it doesn't during waking hours. 28. Time perception in dreams is highly unreliable. While dreams actually occur in real time, your perception of time within the dream can be wildly distorted. A dream that lasted 20 minutes might feel like it lasted hours. A dream that lasted 45 minutes might feel like it only lasted minutes. Upon waking and trying to recount the dream, you might think the dream was much longer or much shorter than it actually was. The subjective experience of time in dreams doesn't match the objective passage of time. This is partly because time markers are absent in dreams. In waking life, you know what time it is through clocks, the sun's position, or your internal sense of time. In dreams, none of these markers are reliable. Your brain doesn't get regular updates about time. Your sense of time is generated internally. And during dreams, that internal clock runs differently. You might experience transitions between scenes or events without consciously noting the passage of time. When you wake and try to reconstruct the dream, you might misjudge how long it actually lasted. 29. Dreams across cultures have common themes but different interpretations. Certain dream themes appear across cultures. Dreams about falling, dreams about being chased, dreams about being naked in public, dreams about being lost or unable to find something. These themes appear regardless of culture. However, the interpretation of these dreams varies widely by culture. In some cultures, dreams are seen as messages from ancestors or spiritual guides. In other cultures, dreams are psychological phenomena. In some cultures, dreams are believed to be premonitions of future events. In others, they're seen as purely mental phenomena with no external significance. The common themes suggest some universal human psychological concerns: fear, vulnerability, getting lost, being unprepared. But the meaning assigned to those dreams is culturally constructed. Different cultures have different frameworks for understanding dreams. This raises interesting questions about dream meaning. Is the meaning inherent in the dream, or is the meaning assigned by the culture's interpretation? If a dream is interpreted as a spiritual message in one culture and as a manifestation of anxiety in another, which interpretation is correct, or are they both partially correct from their respective frameworks? 30. Lucid dreamers can control aspects of their dreams. Once lucid in a dream, people can exert control. They might choose to fly or change location or interact with dream characters differently. However, the control is not absolute. Some aspects of the dream remain out of the dreamer's control. Dream characters might not respond as the dreamer expects. The dream environment might have its own logic that resists the dreamer's attempts to control it. Lucid dreamers sometimes describe the experience as being like trying to drive a car with a delayed steering response, or steering that's less responsive than expected. You can influence the dream, but not with the precision or responsiveness you have over your waking actions. The level of control varies between individuals and even within the same individual on different nights. Practicing lucid dreaming can increase the level of control. People who regularly achieve lucidity often develop better control than people who rarely achieve lucidity. It's as if the more you practice, the better your brain becomes at maintaining conscious awareness within the dream while generating dream content. 31. Dreams might play a role in emotional regulation. One theory suggests that dreams serve an emotional regulation function. During dreams, particularly during nightmares, you're experiencing and processing emotions in a safe environment. You're afraid, angry, sad, but you're asleep. Nothing is actually happening to you. Your brain is generating emotions and then working through them. Over the course of the night, with multiple dream cycles, your brain might be dampening emotional responses. By morning, an emotional issue that seemed overwhelming might feel more manageable. You've spent the night emotionally processing and rehearsing responses. Dreams might be one reason why sleep really does help with emotional problems. You go to bed upset about something. You sleep and dream. You wake up and the situation seems less overwhelming. The sleep didn't change the situation, but it changed your emotional relationship to the situation. Your brain worked through it during dreams. 32. The content of your dreams can be influenced by your diet and what you eat before bed. Heavy, spicy, or fatty foods eaten close to bedtime can cause digestive activity that interferes with sleep, which can affect dreams. Eating a large meal before bed can cause discomfort that leads to lighter sleep and more dream recall, though the dreams might be disrupted or unpleasant. Certain nutrients might influence dream content. B vitamins are involved in neurotransmitter production, and deficiency in B vitamins is associated with more vivid or unusual dreams. Pyridoxine, or B6, is particularly associated with vivid dreams. Foods rich in B6 include chickpeas, salmon, and bananas. If you eat these foods before bed, you might experience more vivid dreams, or you might sleep more poorly due to digestive activity. The relationship is complex and varies between individuals. Some people find that eating certain foods before bed helps them sleep and dream better. Others find it disrupts their sleep. The practical recommendation is to avoid eating large meals close to bedtime, to avoid very spicy or fatty foods that might cause digestive distress, but otherwise, moderate amounts of light foods are generally fine. 33. Your dreams seem more surreal when your brain is less aroused. Brain arousal during REM sleep varies. When brain arousal is lower during REM sleep, your dreams tend to be more bizarrely surreal. When brain arousal is higher during REM sleep, your dreams are more coherent and realistic. This might explain why some dreams feel almost hallucinatory, with impossible events and bizarre transformations, while other dreams feel almost like waking experience. The difference in brain arousal affects the coherence and logic of the dream content. This is also one factor that affects lucid dreaming. Lucid dreamers have slightly higher brain arousal during REM sleep, which allows for the self-awareness necessary for lucidity. Regular dreamers have lower brain arousal during REM sleep, which allows for the more surreal, bizarre dream quality. The level of arousal is not entirely under conscious control, but factors like stress, sleep quality, and sleep duration can influence it. People who are well rested might have higher average brain arousal during REM sleep, leading to more coherent dreams. People who are sleep deprived might have lower arousal, leading to more bizarre dreams. 34. Dreams might help with motor learning. Athletes and people learning new physical skills sometimes report dreaming about the skills they're learning. Research suggests that this dream-based practice might actually contribute to skill improvement. When people are learning a motor skill, their brain's motor cortex is highly active during the learning period. During subsequent sleep, the motor cortex shows activity patterns related to the practice skill. The brain seems to be replaying or rehearsing the motor sequence during sleep. In some studies, people who dreamed about a task they were learning showed better improvement in that task than people who didn't dream about it. This suggests that dream-based motor rehearsal might be contributing to skill consolidation. The practical implication is that if you're learning a physical skill, paying attention to your dreams might offer insights into your learning. If you're dreaming about the skill, your brain is actively consolidating the learning during sleep. 35. Dreams can include sensations like touch, taste, and smell, but these are rare. Most dreams are visual and auditory. You see things, you hear things, but dreams can include other senses. You can taste something in a dream. You can feel texture or temperature. You can smell something. However, these senses appear in dreams far less frequently than visual and auditory content. This is probably because in waking life, you receive far more visual and auditory information than olfactory, gustatory, or tactile information. Your brain is focused on visual and auditory input. When it generates dreams, it generates primarily visual and auditory content. The other senses are present but in the background. Dreams that do include taste or smell are sometimes particularly memorable because the sensory content is unusual. Most dreams stick to the senses that dominate in waking life. 36. Your dreams might reflect social hierarchies and status concerns. Research on dream content suggests that dreams often involve social situations and status concerns. Dreams about performing in front of others, dreams about being evaluated or judged, dreams about social embarrassment or failure are common. Your brain seems to be processing social situations and concerns about status or acceptance. This makes evolutionary sense. For humans, social status and acceptance are important for survival and reproduction. Your brain prioritizes processing social situations and concerns. Your dreams might be rehearsing social scenarios or working through social anxieties. If you're worried about an upcoming presentation or social situation, you're likely to dream about it. Your dreaming brain is essentially running through the scenario multiple times, processing different possibilities. 37. Dreams might be essential for brain development in infants. Infants spend an unusually high proportion of their sleep in REM sleep. Newborns can spend up to 50% of their sleep time in REM sleep, compared to about 20 to 25% in adults. As children grow, the proportion of REM sleep decreases. This high amount of REM sleep in infancy might be crucial for brain development. The generation of neural connections and the organization of the brain might be happening during these extended REM periods. The dreams, if infants experience anything like dreams, might be part of this developmental process. The brain is generating its own input during sleep, potentially helping organize and develop neural circuitry. By adulthood, this intense REM sleep is no longer needed and it decreases. The developmental window for this intensive REM sleep closes. 38. Some dreams are more realistic than others based on your brain state. On some nights, your dreams are realistic and coherent. On other nights, they're bizarre and surreal. This variation partly depends on your overall brain state during REM sleep. If your prefrontal cortex is relatively active during REM sleep, your dreams will be more coherent and realistic. If it's less active, your dreams will be more bizarre. Factors affecting prefrontal cortex activity during REM sleep include sleep quality, stress levels, and sleep stage. If you're in early REM sleep, your dreams might be more realistic. If you're in later REM sleep after multiple cycles, your dreams might be more surreal. This is why later night dreams are often more strange. By that point, you're multiple REM cycles in, your brain has been generating dreams for hours, the prefrontal constraints are lighter, and the dreams become stranger. 39. Dreams might help integrate conflicting information. Your brain sometimes receives information that conflicts with existing knowledge or expectations. During dreams, your brain might be attempting to integrate this conflicting information. The dream might present scenarios that incorporate both conflicting ideas or represent the tension between them. This dream-based integration might help your brain resolve the conflict and arrive at a more complex, integrated understanding. This is speculative, but it would explain why dreams sometimes seem to be working through complex psychological issues or internal conflicts. Your brain is attempting to reconcile different perspectives or integrate different pieces of information into a coherent whole. 40. The people most likely to remember their dreams are those who value dreams. Cultural attitudes about dreams influence dream recall. In cultures where dreams are considered important and meaningful, people tend to remember their dreams better. In cultures where dreams are considered insignificant, dream recall is lower. This is partly conscious and partly unconscious. Consciously, if you value your dreams, you're more likely to make an effort to remember them, to write them down, to reflect on them. Unconsciously, your brain might prioritize dreams for memory consolidation if your culture signals that dreams are important. Even within modern Western cultures, individuals who value their dreams and believe they're meaningful tend to remember more dreams than individuals who dismiss dreams as meaningless noise. Your expectation and attitude seem to influence whether your brain encodes dreams into memory or allows them to fade. 41. Dreams can be influenced by external sensory input. While you're dreaming, external sensory input is still being processed by your brain at some level. If a sound occurs while you're dreaming, your brain might incorporate that sound into the dream. If you're too hot or too cold, that sensation might appear in the dream. This is why people sometimes dream about their alarm clock's sound, or dream they need to use the bathroom when their bladder is full. The external sensory input is being woven into the dream narrative. This is one way that dreams are not entirely internally generated. They're influenced by both internal brain activity and external sensory input. This is also why manipulating your sleep environment can affect your dreams. If you play soft music while sleeping, it might appear in your dreams. If you keep your bedroom at a specific temperature, that might influence dream content. 42. Dreams might be less constrained by grammar and syntax than waking language. Language in dreams is often imprecise. You might understand something in a dream without specific words being spoken. Communication in dreams is sometimes more telepathic or intuitive. When specific words are used, they might not follow normal grammar or syntax. This is partly because language areas of your brain are less active during REM sleep than during waking. Your brain is generating language, but without the normal constraints of active language processing. The result is that dream language is more fluid, less bound by rules, more associative. This might actually be one reason why dreams can be creative or generate novel connections. Without the rigid structure of waking grammar and syntax, ideas can flow together more freely. 43. Your dreams might include representations of ongoing bodily processes. Dreams sometimes seem to represent bodily processes. If you're too hot, you might dream about fire or warmth. If you need to use the bathroom, you might dream about water. If you're hungry, you might dream about food. Your brain seems to be representing ongoing bodily states within the dream narrative. This isn't deliberate or conscious. It's your brain incorporating information from your body into the dream. This is why your physical state can influence your dreams. Your internal state becomes part of the dream content. 44. The most common triggers for nightmares include anxiety, sleep deprivation, and irregular sleep schedules. Nightmares increase when you're anxious or stressed. They increase when you're sleep deprived. They increase when your sleep schedule is irregular or disrupted. These factors all increase baseline anxiety and reduce sleep quality, which leads to more REM sleep fragmentation and more intense dreams. Additionally, sleep deprivation followed by recovery sleep often leads to vivid dreams or nightmares during the recovery sleep. Your brain is making up for lost REM sleep, and the intensity of that compensatory REM sleep can result in vivid or disturbing dreams. Maintaining a regular sleep schedule and prioritizing adequate sleep is one of the best ways to reduce nightmares. Reducing stress and anxiety also helps, though this is sometimes easier said than done. 45. Some people claim to have shared dreams, but this is likely coincidence or social construction. Occasionally, people report having the same or very similar dreams as someone else, leading them to believe they shared a dream. This is almost certainly coincidence or the result of social construction. Two people discussing their dreams might unconsciously influence each other's dream memories or dream content. They might remember their dreams in ways that highlight similarities and downplay differences. From a neurological perspective, dreams are generated by your individual brain based on your individual experiences and neural patterns. Two people having exactly the same dream or even very similar dreams would require an extraordinary coincidence of neural activity. It's far more likely that people are interpreting similarity through a lens of expectation or social influence. This doesn't mean shared dreams are real in a literal sense, but it does suggest that the experience of shared dreams is psychologically meaningful, even if the neurological mechanism is coincidence. 46. Dreams about falling are among the most universal dream experiences. The falling dream is reported across cultures and throughout history. You're falling, often rapidly, and you wake up before hitting the ground, or sometimes you hit the ground and wake up. These dreams are extremely common. The most common interpretation is that they represent anxiety or loss of control. Your falling suggests you're losing control of something in your life. The falling dream might also be related to the physical sensations that sometimes occur as you fall asleep, when your muscles relax and you might experience a sensation of falling. Your brain might be incorporating this sensation into a dream narrative. Falling dreams are almost universal, which suggests they tap into something fundamental about human psychology or human neurology. 47. Dreams about being chased are also extremely common, particularly in anxious or stressed individuals. Being chased in a dream is nearly as universal as falling dreams. You're running from something, often a threat, and you're trying to escape. These dreams are particularly common in people who are anxious or stressed. The interpretation is that you're running from something in your waking life, a problem or threat that you're avoiding, or that's pursuing you. The dream is your brain's way of processing anxiety about something. The fact that you often can't run fast enough or can't escape the threat in dreams suggests that the threat in waking life feels inescapable or overwhelming. These dreams are a visualization of anxiety or threat processing. 48. Dreams about teeth falling out are common and might be related to anxiety or health concerns. Teeth falling out in a dream is a common dream theme, particularly among people who are anxious. The dream typically involves your teeth becoming loose and falling out, sometimes one at a time, sometimes all at once. Interpretations vary. Some suggest it represents anxiety about appearance or aging. Some suggest it represents loss of control or powerlessness. Some suggest it might be related to actual dental problems or concerns about dental health. The dream might be triggered by occasional grinding of your teeth at night, which your brain might incorporate into the dream as loose teeth. Whatever the origin, teeth falling dreams are common and are usually associated with anxiety or stress. 49. Your dreams might include problem-solving or creative thinking that you weren't consciously engaging with. People sometimes report waking from dreams with solutions to problems or creative ideas. These weren't consciously worked on during the day, but the dream presented a solution or creative insight. This might be your brain's ability to make novel connections without the constraints of waking logic. During waking hours, your logical mind is constraining your thoughts, checking ideas against reality and practicality. During dreams, these constraints are loosened. Your brain can make more unusual connections. Some of these unusual connections might actually be useful. They might be novel solutions or creative ideas that your waking mind wouldn't have generated. This is one reason that creative people sometimes find dreams valuable. The dream state might be generating useful creative material. 51. Hypnagogic hallucinations occur in the transitional state between waking and sleeping. As you fall asleep, there's a transitional period where your brain is partially asleep and partially awake. During this transition, you might experience hallucinations. You might see shapes, faces, or patterns. You might hear voices or music. You might feel sensations like being touched. These are called hypnagogic hallucinations, and they're more common than most people realize. Many people experience them occasionally without giving them much thought. Some people experience them regularly. They're not dreams exactly because you're not fully asleep yet. They're hallucinations generated by your brain as it transitions between waking and sleeping states. When your brain is partially asleep, sensory processing is still somewhat active, but it's not receiving real sensory input. Your brain generates its own input, creating the hallucination. These are completely benign and normal. They're not a sign of mental illness. They're just a quirk of the transitional state. Once you understand what they are, they become less frightening if you happen to experience them. 52. Sleep onset. Paralysis is related to sleep paralysis, but occurs as you're falling asleep rather than waking. While most people know about sleep paralysis that occurs upon waking, fewer know about sleep onset paralysis, which occurs as you're falling asleep. As your body transitions into sleep, it becomes paralyzed, but sometimes your consciousness becomes aware during this paralysis. You're aware that you're paralyzed, but you're not yet fully asleep. Your brain might generate hallucinations during this state too. You might feel a presence in the room or experience a sense of dread. Unlike waking sleep paralysis, which is disorienting because you're suddenly unable to move, sleep onset paralysis might feel more like a dreamlike experience where you're aware but unable to move. Some people report that during sleep onset paralysis, they feel as if they're sinking into their bed or being pulled downward. The experience is bizarre and sometimes frightening, but like sleep paralysis, it's completely harmless. It's just your brain's transition into sleep being partially interrupted by consciousness. 53. Dreams might help consolidate episodic memories into semantic memories. Episodic memories are specific memories of events. Semantic memories are general knowledge. You might have an episodic memory of a specific conversation, and over time, that specific memory might become part of your general semantic knowledge about how conversations with that person typically go. Dreams might be involved in this transition. Your brain might be extracting the relevant general knowledge from specific episodes and integrating it into your broader knowledge. By morning, you might have learned something general from a specific experience, and the specific details of the dream or the event might be forgotten. This would explain why dreams sometimes feel fragmented, or why you remember the general sense of a dream, but not the specifics. Your brain might be actively distilling the important information and discarding the rest. 54. Some people experience dreams that seem to predict future events, but this is usually coincidence or selective memory. Throughout history, people have reported dreams that seemed to predict future events. This has led to the belief that some people have premonitory dreams. However, this is almost certainly a combination of coincidence and selective memory. You have hundreds of dreams over your lifetime. Some of them will inevitably contain elements that later occur. By pure probability, some dreams will seem prophetic. Additionally, once something occurs that you've dreamed about, you remember the dream differently. Your memory reconstructs the dream in light of the event, making it seem more prophetic than it actually was. You might also selectively remember the dreams that seem to come true while forgetting the hundreds of dreams that didn't predict anything. The subjective sense that you've had a premonitory dream is powerful, but the mechanism is almost certainly coincidence combined with selective memory rather than actual premonition. 55. Lucid dreaming ability can decrease with age. Children and young adults report higher rates of lucid dreaming than older adults. The ability to achieve lucidity in dreams seems to decrease with age. The reasons aren't entirely clear, but they might relate to changes in brain structure and neurochemistry with age. The brain regions involved in self-awareness and metacognition might be functioning slightly differently. Additionally, children might have more natural lucid dreams simply because their sense of reality is less developed. They might more easily confuse dreams with waking. As you get older and your sense of reality becomes more fixed, you might be less likely to question whether you're dreaming. The good news is that even if lucid dreaming ability naturally decreases with age, people can still develop lucid dreaming ability through practice at any age. It might require more effort and practice than for younger people, but it's possible. 56. Dreams might include symbolic representations of psychological concepts. Some dream researchers believe that dreams include symbolic representations of psychological concepts. A wall in a dream might represent a barrier or obstacle. Water might represent emotions. Being chased might represent anxiety or avoidance. These symbols are not universal. They're personal. A wall might mean something different in your dreams than in someone else's dreams, depending on your personal associations and experiences. However, there do seem to be some common symbolic associations. These might be cultural, or they might be based on universal human experiences. If you're interested in your dreams, paying attention to recurring symbols might offer insights into your own psychology. What does a particular symbol mean to you? What associations do you have with it? The symbol might be your brain's way of representing something that's difficult to articulate directly. 57. REM sleep deprivation can lead to strange sleep-related behaviors. If someone is prevented from entering REM sleep, or if REM sleep is consistently interrupted, a phenomenon called REM rebound occurs. When the person finally gets uninterrupted REM sleep, they spend an unusually large amount of time in REM. The REM periods are more frequent and more intense. Additionally, REM deprivation can lead to strange behaviors. People might experience hallucinations or mood disturbances. They might become irritable or have difficulty concentrating. Chronically disrupted REM sleep is associated with various psychological and cognitive problems. This is one reason why adequate sleep is so important. Your brain needs uninterrupted REM sleep to function optimally. Anything that chronically disrupts REM sleep, whether it's substances, medications, or sleep disorders, can have significant impacts on mood, cognition, and overall functioning. 58. Some dreams might be influenced by your current life circumstances in ways you don't consciously recognize. You might have a dream that doesn't seem to relate to your life, and then later you realize it was processing something that was happening in your life. Your brain might be working through something that you weren't consciously focused on. Someone stressed about a relationship might have dreams that don't obviously involve the relationship, but are processing the emotional content. Someone uncertain about a career decision might have dreams about movement or travel that are processing the decision without directly representing it. Your brain is processing your life circumstances through metaphor and symbol. You might not consciously recognize the connection until you think about it, but your dreaming brain knows what matters and is working on it. 59. Dreams might serve different functions at different life stages. In childhood, dreams might primarily serve developmental and neurological functions. In young adulthood, dreams might be more focused on social and relationship processing. In middle age, dreams might involve more future-oriented thinking or processing of accumulated experiences. In older age, dreams might be more reflective or involve more processing of life review. This is speculative, but it would make sense that the function of dreams might shift with life stage. The concerns and processing needs change with age. Your dreams might reflect these changing needs. 60. Sleep deprivation can cause dreamlike hallucinations. While you're awake, if you're extremely sleep deprived, you might start experiencing hallucinations or dreamlike experiences while awake. Your brain becomes confused about what state it's in. People who have been awake for 24 hours or more often report hallucinations. The longer you go without sleep, the more severe the hallucinations can become. This is your brain beginning to enter REM-like states while you're supposedly awake. The distinction between waking and sleeping is breaking down. This is one of the dangers of extreme sleep deprivation. It's not just that you're tired, your brain is beginning to malfunction in terms of its basic state management. You can't reliably distinguish between waking and dreaming. 61. Dreams might include references to things you've forgotten in waking life. You might dream about something and wake up without remembering it in your dream. Then later something triggers the memory. You were walking through a place in your dream that you didn't consciously recognize, but when you see a picture of it, you realize it was somewhere you visited once and had forgotten about. Your dreaming brain has access to memories that your waking consciousness has lost. Your brain hasn't deleted the memory. It's stored somewhere. Your dream accessed it. This suggests that dreams might sometimes be pulling from a wider range of memory than your waking consciousness normally accesses. 62. Nightmares can sometimes be treated or reduced through cognitive rehearsal. Imagery rehearsal therapy is a treatment for nightmare disorder that involves having the person rewrite their nightmare while awake. They consciously change aspects of the nightmare, making it less threatening or changing the outcome. They then mentally rehearse this revised version. Over time, when they have the nightmare naturally, it sometimes shifts to match the revised version they've been rehearsing. Their brain seems to adopt the new narrative. This is a real treatment used by therapists and has been found to be effective for people with chronic nightmares. It's based on the idea that your brain can learn new narratives and that by consciously providing an alternative narrative, you can influence what your brain generates during dreams. 63. Dreams might influence your mood the next day. The emotional content of your dreams can influence your mood upon waking. If you have disturbing nightmares, you might wake up feeling anxious or upset, and that mood might carry into your day. If you have pleasant dreams, you might wake up feeling better. However, this effect typically fades as you wake up more fully and begin engaging with your waking reality. By the time you've been awake for a while, the immediate dream-influenced mood usually normalizes. But the initial wake-up period shows that dreams do have direct emotional effects. 64. Some dreams might include accurate sensory processing. While dreams often distort reality and include impossible scenarios, some elements of dreams might include accurate sensory processing. If you hear a sound while dreaming, you might accurately process that sound and incorporate it into your dream. If someone speaks to you, you might accurately understand what they're saying and incorporate it into your dream. Your brain isn't completely offline during REM sleep. It's still receiving some sensory input and processing it, even as it's generating dream content. The external input is being woven into the dream narrative, but it's being accurately processed in some respects. 65. Dreams might sometimes reveal blind spots in your thinking. Your dreams don't follow the same logical constraints as your waking thought. Your dreaming brain might present scenarios or juxtapositions that reveal something your waking mind was avoiding or not seeing. You might wake up with a realization about something. The dream presented something in a way that your waking mind wouldn't have, and the insight sticks with you. This is one reason people sometimes find value in paying attention to dreams. They might offer perspective that your waking logic wasn't accessing. 66. REM sleep is regulated, partly by neurotransmitters called monoamines. Monoamine neurotransmitters, including serotonin and norepinephrine, play a role in regulating REM sleep. During waking, these neurotransmitters are produced at higher levels. During REM sleep, they're produced at lower levels. This neurochemical shift is part of what allows REM sleep to occur. Medications that affect monoamine levels, like antidepressants that increase serotonin, can suppress REM sleep. This is why people taking antidepressants often report decreased dreams. The medication is affecting the neurochemistry that governs REM sleep. Understanding this neurochemistry is important for understanding how various substances and medications affect dreams. 67. Dreams might sometimes be influenced by expectations you had before sleep. If you go to sleep thinking about a particular topic or expecting to dream about something, you're more likely to dream about it. This might be because you've primed your brain to generate dream content related to that topic. Your expectation influences what your brain generates. This is one reason dream incubation works. If you set an intention to dream about something and hold that intention as you fall asleep, you're more likely to dream about it. Your expectations influence the content your brain generates during sleep. 68. Dreams might include representations of pain or physical discomfort. If you're experiencing pain or physical discomfort while sleeping, it might appear in your dreams. You might dream about being hurt or experiencing pain. You might dream about the source of the pain. A person with chronic pain might have dreams that involve pain or representations of what's causing their pain. The external physical state is being incorporated into the dream content. This is one way that your waking physical state influences your dreams. 69. Some people are more prone to vivid dreams than others. Individual differences in dream vividness exist. Some people consistently report vivid, colorful, detailed dreams. Others report more vague or less detailed dreams. These differences might be related to differences in brain structure or neurochemistry. People who are prone to vivid dreams might have differences in how their visual cortex or memory systems function. They might have higher baseline brain arousal during REM sleep. They might have more active connections between certain brain regions. The reasons for individual differences in dream vividness aren't entirely clear, but they're real and measurable. 70. Dreams might serve a function in processing uncertainty. Your brain deals with uncertainty constantly. You're uncertain about future outcomes, about how to interpret ambiguous situations, about what other people are thinking. Dreams might serve a function in processing this uncertainty. Your brain might be generating multiple possibilities and running through different scenarios. By dreaming through various possibilities, your brain might be preparing for multiple futures rather than just one expected outcome. This would be adaptive. If your brain has mentally rehearsed multiple possible futures, you're better prepared for any of them. 71. The most vivid dreams often occur in the early morning hours when REM periods are longest. The last sleep cycle of the night includes the longest REM period. By early morning, before you wake, you might be in a REM period lasting 45 minutes or more. The longer REM periods generate longer, more complex, more vivid dreams. Additionally, you're closer to consciousness, so there's more chance of remembering upon waking. This is why the dreams you remember most vividly are typically those from early morning. You've spent the night completing multiple cycles, and you're now in the most intense, longest REM period. The dreams are most elaborate and most likely to be remembered. 72. Dreams might include anticipatory anxiety or rehearsal of future social situations. Dreams often include social situations. People report dreams about presentations, social gatherings, interactions with others. These might be your brain's way of rehearsing social situations and processing social anxiety. You're practicing responses to social situations in your dreams. If you're anxious about an upcoming social situation, you're likely to have dreams involving social situations, possibly variations on the situation you're anticipating. Your brain is running through possibilities and practicing responses. 73. Dreams might sometimes seem to solve problems through lateral thinking. The dream state generates connections that waking logic might not make. Because your prefrontal cortex is less active during REM sleep, the usual constraints on your thinking are loosened. Your brain can make unusual associations. Some of these unusual associations might actually solve problems. Someone stuck on a problem might dream about something seemingly unrelated, and upon waking, realize that the dream offered a useful perspective. The dream didn't directly solve the problem. Instead, it offered a different way of thinking about it. This lateral thinking, approaching problems from unexpected angles, is something your dreaming brain does naturally because it's not constrained by logical reasoning. Your waking brain would filter out these unusual connections as illogical. Your dreaming brain generates them freely. 74. The content of your dreams can be influenced by what you read or watch before bed. The media you consume shortly before bed can appear in your dreams. If you read an exciting book, you might dream about similar scenarios. If you watch a movie, elements from the movie might appear in your dreams. If you read news, especially disturbing news, that might influence your dreams. Your brain is processing the recent sensory and emotional input. The content that's most fresh in your mind is most likely to appear in your dreams. This is one practical reason to be mindful about what you consume before bed. If you want more peaceful dreams, consuming peaceful content before bed might help. If you consume disturbing or exciting content, your dreams are more likely to reflect that. 75. Dreams might include time compression, where multiple events feel like they happen sequentially. In dreams, you might experience what feels like days or weeks of events in the span of a 45-minute REM period. Events seem to unfold sequentially, but so rapidly that the compression doesn't feel obvious. You might dream about going to work, having a conversation, going home, preparing dinner, and going to bed, and all of it feel like it happened in real time within the dream. Upon waking, you realize that all of that couldn't have actually happened in just the time you were asleep. Your brain compressed time within the dream. Events that would take hours happened in minutes. The dream logic accepted this compression, but waking logic recognizes it. 76. Some dreams might be influenced by the phase of the moon. There's a persistent folk belief that dreams are influenced by the phase of the moon. Scientific research on this is mixed. Some studies have found minor correlations between lunar phases and sleep quality or dream characteristics. Other studies have found no correlation. The most likely explanation for any correlation is that people's expectations about the moon influence their dream reporting rather than the moon actually influencing dreams. If you believe the full moon will cause vivid dreams, you might be more likely to remember and report dreams when there's a full moon. Confirmation bias plays a role. However, some research suggests that the full moon might affect sleep quality through effects on circadian rhythms or light exposure. If sleep quality is affected, dream characteristics might be affected as a secondary effect. The bottom line is that there's no convincing evidence that the moon directly influences dreams, but indirect effects through sleep quality are possible. 77. Dreams might sometimes include communication that feels like telepathy. In dreams, you sometimes communicate with dream characters without actually speaking. You understand them, and they understand you through a kind of nonverbal communication. It feels telepathic. Upon waking, you realize there were no actual words. The communication happened at a conceptual level. This is another example of how dream logic differs from waking logic. In waking life, communication requires language. In dreams, understanding can happen without language. Your brain is generating understanding directly without the intermediate step of language. This is possible in dreams because your language areas are less active, so your brain generates conceptual understanding without translating it to language. 78. Recurring nightmares might be your brain's way of signaling unresolved trauma or persistent anxiety. A recurring nightmare that repeats over weeks, months, or years is often a sign that something isn't being resolved. Your brain keeps returning to the same scenario because it's trying to process something. The nightmare might be directly related to trauma or anxiety, or it might be symbolic. A person with a recurring nightmare about being chased might be dealing with anxiety about something they feel unable to face. A person with a recurring nightmare about falling might be dealing with anxiety about loss of control. The repetition suggests that the brain isn't satisfied with how it's processing the underlying issue. Addressing the underlying issue through therapy or other means often causes the recurring nightmare to stop. Once your brain feels like the issue has been adequately processed, it stops generating the nightmare. 79. The ability to remember. Dreams can be developed like any other skill. Some people are naturally better at remembering dreams, but dream recall is a skill that can be improved. Keeping a dream journal immediately upon waking helps. Expressing intention before bed to remember your dreams helps. Waking up naturally rather than to an alarm helps. Allowing yourself more sleep helps. Over time, with practice, your ability to remember dreams improves. Your brain learns that dreams are valued and should be encoded into memory. People who practice dream recall often find themselves remembering more dreams as time goes on. The skill isn't innate. It's developed through conscious attention and practice. 80. Dreams might include linguistic or symbolic puns that your brain generates. Sometimes dreams include puns or wordplay. Your brain makes a connection between words or concepts that have double meanings. In waking life, you might not make these connections, but in dreams, your brain generates them. This is another example of how dreams can be creative. Your brain, freed from some constraints, makes conceptual connections and generates wordplay. Upon waking, you might remember the pun and find it clever or amusing. Your dreaming brain generated something that your waking mind appreciates. This is one of the ways dreams can be genuinely creative. 81. Sleep quality affects dream vividness more than sleep duration. Getting 7 hours of fragmented, poor quality sleep might result in fewer vivid dreams than getting 5 hours of high quality, uninterrupted sleep. The quality of your sleep, particularly the quality of your REM sleep, affects how vivid and memorable your dreams are. Deep, uninterrupted REM sleep produces more vivid dreams than fragmented REM sleep. This is one reason why sleep consistency and sleep quality matter more than just total sleep duration. You could sleep more total hours, but have poor quality sleep with fragmented REM periods, resulting in fewer vivid dreams. Or you could sleep fewer total hours, but have high quality, consolidated sleep with uninterrupted REM periods, resulting in more vivid dreams. The quality of your sleep architecture matters. 82. Dreams might sometimes include awareness of your sleeping body. Occasionally, while dreaming, you might have awareness of your sleeping body. You might feel yourself lying in bed. You might be aware that you're dreaming while also being aware that you're lying down. This awareness doesn't necessarily pull you out of the dream. You can have both the dream experience and simultaneous awareness of your physical body. This is a hallmark of lucid dreaming. The person is aware of both the dream world and the waking world simultaneously. This dual awareness is what allows lucid dreamers to have voluntary control. They're aware enough to exert control while still engaged in the dream. 83. Stress hormones, like cortisol, can disrupt your dream recall. When you're under significant stress, your cortisol levels are elevated. High cortisol levels can disrupt sleep quality and can particularly affect REM sleep. If REM sleep is disrupted or fragmented, dream recall decreases. You might be having dreams, but you're not remembering them because the REM periods are being disrupted by stress hormones. Additionally, stress affects memory consolidation generally. Your ability to encode dreams into memory might be compromised by stress. This is one reason why stressed people often report not remembering their dreams. It's not that they're not dreaming, it's that their sleep is disrupted and their memory is affected by stress. 84. The interdependence between dreams and emotions appears to be bidirectional. Not only do your current emotional state and recent emotional experiences influence your dreams, but your dreams also influence your emotional state. Bad dreams can affect your mood. Dreams that process difficult emotions can leave you feeling better. This is a bidirectional relationship. Your emotions influence your dreams, and your dreams influence your emotions. This is one mechanism through which sleep helps with emotional problems. During sleep, your brain is actively processing and regulating emotions through dreams. By morning, your emotional state has shifted. The sleep didn't change the situation, but it changed your emotional relationship to the situation. 85. Dreams might involve realistic scenarios that seem to simulate decision-making. Sometimes you have dreams where you're making decisions. You're presented with options and you choose between them. These decision-making dreams might be your brain simulating decision-making processes. You're practicing how you'd respond in different scenarios. Once you're in the situation in waking life, your brain has already rehearsed the decision-making. This is another form of simulation. Your brain is simulating not just sensory experiences, but decision-making processes. You're practicing how to respond to situations before you actually encounter them. 86. The neurochemistry of dreams might be optimized for certain types of memory processing. The specific neurochemical state during REM sleep might be optimized for processing certain types of memory. The high levels of acetylcholine and low levels of norepinephrine create a state that's ideal for certain memory consolidation processes. This specific neurochemical recipe might be ideal for emotional memory processing or for extracting general knowledge from specific experiences. In waking states, the neurochemistry is optimized for different types of processing. The brain shifts its neurochemistry based on the processing needs. During dreams, it's shifted to a state that's optimal for specific memory consolidation tasks. 87. Dreams might sometimes include representations of internal bodily states. Your brain is constantly monitoring your internal state. During dreams, your brain might represent internal bodily states symbolically or directly. If your blood sugar is dropping, you might dream about food. If your body temperature is rising, you might dream about heat. If your heart rate is elevated, you might dream about excitement or exertion. Your internal state is being monitored and represented in your dreams. The dream content reflects not just external experiences and concerns, but also your internal bodily state. 88. Lucid dreamers show different brain connectivity patterns than non-lucid dreamers. Research using brain imaging shows that lucid dreamers have different patterns of brain connectivity than people who don't have lucid dreams. The connections between certain brain regions are stronger in lucid dreamers. This increased connectivity might be what allows lucid dreamers to maintain self-awareness during dreams. Their brain connectivity is set up in a way that maintains some of the self-reflective capabilities of waking consciousness while still generating the dream state. This is an innate neurological difference, but like many neurological traits, it can potentially be developed through practice. 89. Dreams might involve emotional reframing of experiences. Dreams sometimes take an experience that happened during the day and present it in a different emotional context. An experience that was stressful during the day might be presented in your dream in a less stressful way. An experience that was unpleasant might be reframed in a way that's more neutral or even positive. This emotional reframing might be your brain's way of processing the experience more adaptively. By the morning, you might have a different emotional relationship to the experience. The reframing that happened during dreams has shifted your perspective. 90. Some people report enhanced creativity after vivid dreams. Creative people sometimes report that vivid dreams enhance their creativity. Artists, writers, and musicians sometimes report that ideas from dreams contribute to their creative work. The unusual connections and imagery in dreams can seed creative projects. A vivid dream might provide the inspiration or starting point for a creative work. This relationship between vivid dreams and creativity might be one reason creative people seem to value their dreams. Paying attention to dreams, remembering them, and using them as creative material can enhance creative output. 91. Dreams might include sensory details that you don't remember upon waking. You might wake from a dream remembering the general narrative, but not the specific sensory details. However, your brain might have processed those details during the dream. The details were present in your brain during the dream, even if they don't transfer to your memory. Your dreaming brain had rich sensory experiences that fade upon waking. This is why dreams often feel less detailed when remembered than when experienced. The sensory richness of the dream is lost in memory. 92. The transition into REM sleep might sometimes trigger conscious awareness. As you transition into REM sleep, you're sometimes aware of the transition. You might feel yourself becoming paralyzed. You might experience the characteristic rapid eye movements. You might become aware that you're in REM sleep while still partially conscious. This awareness doesn't necessarily pull you out of sleep. You can have conscious awareness of the transition into REM sleep and remain asleep. Some people find this transition awareness useful for practicing lucid dreaming. By being aware of the transition into REM, they can set intention for lucidity in that moment. 93. Dreams might sometimes involve metacognition about the dream itself. Even in non-lucid dreams, you might sometimes have awareness of the dream nature of what you're experiencing. You might think something like, "This is probably a dream," but not quite achieve full lucidity. You have suspicion without full awareness. This partial metacognition might increase over time until you fully achieve lucidity. The gradual increase in dream-related metacognition might be how lucid dreaming develops. You start with occasional suspicions that you're dreaming, and over time, with practice, you achieve full awareness. 94. Dreams might include representations of social hierarchies and status dynamics. Dreams often include representations of social position or status. You might dream about being promoted or demoted. You might dream about being accepted or rejected by a social group. You might dream about gaining or losing status or power. These representations might reflect your actual concerns about social status or your subconscious processing of social dynamics. Your brain is representing social hierarchies and your position within them. This might be part of social processing and adjustment of your sense of social position. 95. The forgetting of dreams might be partly adaptive. While it might seem like a bug that you forget most of your dreams, it might actually be a feature. If you remembered every dream with perfect clarity, you'd have a huge archive of bizarre, surreal, often disturbing memories. Dreams would intrude on waking consciousness more than they currently do. The forgetting might be adaptive. It allows dreams to serve their functions without cluttering your waking consciousness with bizarre dream memories. You get the benefits of dream processing without being overwhelmed by dream memories. The selective forgetting, where you remember a few dreams and forget most, might be the optimal arrangement for how dreams can benefit you while not overwhelming you. 96. Dreams might sometimes include references to conversations or interactions you had hours before. Your brain seems to have a delayed processing system for recent experiences. You might have a conversation in the afternoon and not dream about it until the following night. Your brain is processing the experience on a delay. It's consolidating the experience, and hours later, it generates dream content related to it. This delayed processing might be part of how recent experiences are integrated into memory. The delay allows time for initial processing before the dream-based consolidation. 97. Blind spots in your waking perception might be represented symbolically in dreams. If there's something you're avoiding thinking about in waking life, you might encounter it symbolically in your dreams. Your dream might represent the avoided topic through metaphor or symbol. Upon waking and reflecting on the dream, you might realize it was addressing something you've been avoiding. This is one way dreams might offer insight into your psychology. They might represent what you're consciously avoiding. The symbolic representation might make it safer or easier to engage with the avoided topic in dream form. 98. Dreams might include representations of time itself. Some people report dreams where they're aware of time as a concept. They might dream about aging rapidly or rewinding through time. They might experience time as a physical dimension they can move through. These are rare dreams, but they suggest that your brain can represent abstract concepts like time as quasi-sensory experiences. You can dream about time in ways that don't correspond to any real sensory experience. 99. The emotional tone of your dreams might shift throughout the night. Your first dreams of the night might have different emotional tones than your later dreams. Early night dreams might be more neutral or mildly stressful. Later night dreams might be more intense emotionally or more bizarre. This progression might reflect your brain's increasing distance from waking as the night progresses. As you move deeper into sleep cycles and your brain moves further from waking consciousness, the emotional intensity and bizarreness of dreams increase. 100. Dreams might sometimes include awareness of the dreamer's own body sensations. While dreaming, you sometimes become aware of physical sensations. You might feel your heart beating. You might feel the texture of the sheets. You might notice that you're warm or cold. This dual awareness, where you're both in the dream and aware of your body, is related to lucidity. The more aware you are of your body during dreams, the more likely you are to achieve lucidity or to remember the dream upon waking. 101. Some dreams might be influenced by invisible air pressure or weather changes. Some research suggests that barometric pressure changes might affect sleep and dreams. When pressure drops, some people sleep differently. This might affect REM sleep quality or dream characteristics. The mechanism isn't clear, but some people report more vivid dreams or different dream characteristics on days when weather systems move through. This might be coincidence or selective memory, but it's a possibility that external atmospheric conditions might have subtle effects on dreams. 102. Dreams might include representations of your sense of self or identity. Dreams often involve you as a character, but sometimes the representation of you in the dream is different from how you see yourself. You might be older, younger, different appearance, different personality. The way you're represented in your dreams might reveal something about how you perceive yourself or how you're changing over time. Tracking how you represent yourself across dreams might offer insights into your evolving self-perception. 103. Dreams might sometimes include accurate representation of past conversations. While dream dialogue is often bizarre and illogical, sometimes dreams include conversations or dialogue that accurately represents conversations you actually had. Your brain accurately recalls and reproduces actual dialogue in dream form. This shows that your brain is storing and can reproduce accurate verbal information, even though you're not consciously recalling it while awake. Your brain has access to detailed memories that aren't readily available to your conscious mind. 104. The vividness of your dreams might be related to how alert your brain is during REM sleep. Brain arousal during REM sleep varies. Higher arousal leads to more vivid, coherent dreams. Lower arousal leads to more bizarre, less coherent dreams. Individual differences in brain arousal during REM sleep might explain why some people have consistently vivid dreams and others don't. Additionally, factors that affect arousal, like caffeine consumption or stress, affect how vivid your dreams are. A calm, relaxed brain during REM sleep might produce less vivid dreams. A more alert brain produces more vivid dreams. 105. Dreams might sometimes include wordless understanding of complex concepts. In dreams, you sometimes understand complex ideas without any words or language being involved. You simply know something. You understand a relationship between concepts or understand a situation without explanation. This wordless understanding is different from waking understanding, which typically involves language. Your brain can represent understanding in dreams without the mediation of language. Upon waking, you might struggle to put the dream understanding into words because it wasn't represented in language form in the dream. 106. Dreams might be influenced by the magnetic field of the Earth. Some speculative research suggests that the Earth's magnetic field might have subtle effects on sleep and dreams. The theory is that magnetoreception, The ability to sense magnetic fields that some animals possess might be present in humans at some level. If so, changes in magnetic field might affect sleep. This is highly speculative and controversial. There's no strong evidence that Earth's magnetic field significantly affects human dreams. However, the possibility is interesting enough that some researchers continue investigating it. 107. Some dreams might involve integration of information from multiple sensory modalities. Your brain receives information from multiple senses. In waking life, you integrate visual, auditory, tactile, and other sensory information. In dreams, your brain is still integrating information from multiple modalities, but it's generating all of them internally. You have a visual dream, but integrated with emotional content, with sounds, with sensations. The integration of multiple internally generated modalities creates the complex sensory experience of dreams. Your brain is running its full integration machinery, but running on internally generated rather than externally received input. 108. Dreams might reflect your implicit beliefs rather than your explicit beliefs. Your explicit beliefs are what you consciously say you believe. Your implicit beliefs are what your behavior and automatic responses reveal you actually believe. Dreams might reflect your implicit beliefs more than your explicit beliefs. You might have explicit beliefs about something, but your dreams reveal different implicit beliefs. This mismatch between explicit and implicit beliefs might be revealed through your dreams. Your dreams might be showing you what you actually believe rather than what you think you believe. 109. The brain regions activated during dreams overlap significantly with brain regions involved in emotion. The emotional centers of your brain are highly active during REM sleep and dreaming. This is one reason why dreams are so emotionally charged. Your emotional brain is running the show during dreams while your logical brain is relatively quiet. This makes dreams inherently emotional experiences. You're experiencing your dreams through an emotional filter. The emotional intensity is not accidental. It's because the systems generating dreams are emotion-based systems. 110. Dreams might sometimes include representations of your future self. You might have dreams where you encounter an older version of yourself or a version of yourself at a different life stage. These dreams might be your brain's way of thinking about your future or considering future possibilities. You're imagining yourself in future circumstances. This is another form of simulation and rehearsal. Your brain is simulating what it might be like to be you in the future. 111. Dreams might be influenced by your microbiome and gut health. Emerging research suggests that gut bacteria might influence mood and possibly sleep through the gut-brain axis. If your gut bacteria are influencing your mood and neurochemistry, they might indirectly influence your dreams. A healthy microbiome might support better sleep quality and better dream consolidation. An unhealthy microbiome might disrupt sleep and affect dreams. This is highly speculative, but the connections between microbiome and brain function are becoming increasingly clear. Indirect effects on dreams through microbiome-mediated effects on sleep and mood are plausible. 112. Some dreams might involve accurate simulation of sensory experiences. Your dreams sometimes accurately simulate sensory experiences. A dream smell might be a very accurate representation of an actual smell. A dream taste might be accurate to an actual taste. A dream sensation might accurately represent an actual sensation. Your brain is generating these sensory experiences accurately. This shows that your brain can generate sensory representations that are faithful to actual sensory experiences. The brain's simulation capability is quite sophisticated. 113. Dreams might sometimes involve rapid cycling through different emotional states. Within a single dream, you might cycle through multiple different emotional states. You might feel fear, then relief, then sadness, then confusion. The emotional states shift rapidly. This emotional cycling might be your brain's way of exploring different emotional responses to situations. You're not just feeling one emotion. you're cycling through multiple emotions. This might be emotional exploration or emotional processing of situations that evoke multiple emotions. 114. The content of your dreams might become more abstract as you age. As people age, their dreams might become less concrete and more abstract. Younger people might have more literal, concrete dreams. Older people might have more abstract, conceptual dreams. This might reflect changes in cognitive style with age. Older adults might be more inclined toward abstract thinking and metaphorical representation. Their dreams might reflect this cognitive shift. The dreams become less about concrete events and more about concepts and relationships between concepts. 115. Dreams might include awareness of social contracts and rules. In dreams, you might be following or breaking social contracts and rules. You might be aware that something you're doing is against social norms, but you do it anyway. This awareness suggests that your brain is representing social contracts and norms, even in dreams. You're not just experiencing events, you're aware of social context and social rules. Your brain is representing the social dimension of your experiences even while dreaming. 116. Some dreams might be influenced by your posture or position during sleep. The position you're sleeping in might influence your dreams. Some research suggests that sleeping on your back might increase likelihood of lucid dreams. Other positions might influence dream content in other ways. The proprioceptive feedback from your body position might influence what your brain generates. If you're sleeping curled up, the sense of compactness and protection might influence dream content. If you're spread out, the sense of openness might influence it. Your body position feeds into your brain's representation of your state. 117. Dreams might sometimes include representations of your relationship with time. Some people dream about being rushed or time passing too quickly. Others dream about having plenty of time. These dream representations of time might reflect your actual relationship with time. People who feel rushed in waking life might dream about being rushed. People who feel they have time might dream about abundance of time. Your dreams might be representing your subjective experience of time as it actually is in your life. 118. The neural signatures of dreams might include predictable patterns based on dream content. Research using brain imaging during dreams has found that different dream content produces different patterns of brain activity. Dreams about social situations activate different brain regions than dreams about movement or dreams about fear. The content of your dream has a neural signature. Your brain's activity pattern reflects what you're dreaming about. This suggests that neural activity during dreams is not random. It's organized and reflects the content being generated. 119. Dreams might include representations of your relationship with authority or power. Dreams often include representations of authority figures or power dynamics. You might dream about being in conflict with an authority figure or obeying or rebelling. These representations might reflect your actual relationship with authority or power. Your dreams might be representing how you feel about power structures and where you see yourself within them. Dreams about authority and power might be quite revealing about your psychological stance toward these concepts. 120. The most enduring mystery about dreams is whether they serve essential functions or are merely byproducts of brain activity. After all we've discussed, after all the research and theory, the fundamental question remains: are dreams essential? Do they serve crucial functions that your brain requires? Or are they byproducts of REM sleep, side effects of the brain activity that's happening for other reasons? The scientific consensus leans toward dreams serving multiple functions, but the question isn't entirely settled. Your dreams might be essential to your psychological and cognitive health, or they might be incidental to processes that are essential. You spend roughly 6 years dreaming over an average lifetime, 6 years of your life spent generating these narratives and experiences. Whether they're essential or incidental, they're undeniably part of what you are. 121. Dreams might sometimes include awareness of the dream's own rules or physics. Occasionally, while dreaming, you become aware that certain rules are governing the dream world. You might realize that gravity works differently in your dream. You might notice that time behaves strangely. You might become aware that certain physical laws are being violated or altered. This awareness of the dream's own internal logic, separate from waking reality, is a form of proto-lucidity. You're not fully lucid, but you're aware that something about the rules of reality is different. This awareness might eventually develop into full lucidity. You start by noticing the altered rules, then you start to suspect you're dreaming, and finally, you achieve full awareness that you're dreaming. The progression from noticing rule changes to achieving lucidity is gradual for many people. 122. Dreams might be influenced by your attachment style and relationship patterns. Research in psychology has found correlations between attachment styles and dream content. People with secure attachment styles tend to have different dream content than people with anxious or avoidant attachment styles. People with anxious attachment might have more dreams involving abandonment or separation. People with avoidant attachment might have more dreams involving entrapment or loss of independence. Your attachment style, developed early in life through your relationships with caregivers, influences how you relate to others throughout your life. Your dreams might be reflecting your actual attachment patterns and relationship concerns. Dreams about relationships might reveal your underlying attachment anxiety or security. They might show you how your attachment style is influencing your current relationships. 123. Some dreams might represent your brain's attempt to resolve cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the uncomfortable feeling you get when you hold two conflicting beliefs, or when your behavior doesn't match your beliefs. Your brain doesn't like this inconsistency. Dreams might be one way your brain attempts to resolve it. You might have a dream that somehow reconciles the conflicting beliefs or explores the conflict from different angles. Upon waking, you might have a different perspective on the conflict. Your dreaming brain has been working on the inconsistency, trying to make sense of it. This dream-based problem solving might help you move from cognitive dissonance to cognitive coherence. The dream is your brain's way of working towards psychological consistency. 124. Dreams might include exploration of alternative versions of your life. Some people report having dreams where they're living alternative versions of their lives. They might be living in a different place, with different people, in a different career. These dreams might be your brain's way of exploring the road not taken. You might be curious about what your life would be like if you'd made different choices. Your dreaming brain simulates these alternative scenarios. Some people find these dreams fascinating or even disturbing. They might wonder about the parallel lives they could have lived. The dreams might provide some sense of closure about paths not taken, or they might create a sense of regret or longing. These alternative life dreams might be your brain's way of exploring your values and priorities by imagining different arrangements of your life. 125. Dreams might sometimes include accurate forecasting of future emotional states. In rare cases, people report having dreams that accurately predicted their future emotional state. They dreamed about feeling a certain way, and that feeling came to pass. They didn't have the emotional experience in waking life that would have triggered the feeling, but the dream seemed to predict it anyway. This might be your brain's way of anticipating future emotional states based on current circumstances or subtle cues you're not consciously aware of. Your brain might be reading subtle signs of what's coming and preparing you emotionally. The dream serves as a kind of emotional preview. This is speculative, but it suggests that your brain might have access to information about future possibilities that your conscious mind isn't aware of. 126. Dreams might be influenced by seasonal changes and varying light exposure. The amount of daylight you're exposed to changes with the seasons. This affects your circadian rhythms and your sleep patterns. Your dreams might vary seasonally as well. In winter, when days are shorter and you're getting less light exposure, your sleep patterns change. You might sleep longer. Your REM sleep might be different. Your dream content might shift. Some people report having different types of dreams in different seasons. Winter dreams might be different from summer dreams. This might be partly circadian, partly related to the different activities and concerns of different seasons, and partly related to mood changes associated with seasonal variation in light. Your dreams are responsive to the rhythm of the year just as your body is. 127. Dreams might sometimes serve as rehearsal for social performance or public speaking. If you have an upcoming public speaking event or social performance, you might dream about it repeatedly. These dreams are rehearsing the experience. Your brain is running through the scenario, experiencing it emotionally, practicing responses. Some of these rehearsals might be anxiety-based, where you're experiencing fear or failure. Others might be more neutral rehearsals. The repeated dreaming about the upcoming event might help you prepare for it psychologically and emotionally. By the time the actual event arrives, your brain has already practiced it many times. This might reduce anxiety or improve performance. The dreams are essentially pre-experience training. 128. Dreams might include representations of your body's internal processes. Sometimes your dreams include content that seems to represent your body's internal processes. If you're fighting off an infection, you might have dreams involving battle or defense. If your digestion is active, you might have dreams involving eating or food. If your heart rate is elevated, you might have dreams involving excitement or exertion. Your brain is representing your internal bodily state, metaphorically or symbolically, in your dreams. The dreams are reflecting what's happening inside your body. This is another way that dreams are connected to your physical state, not just your mental or emotional state. Your whole organism, including its internal processes, is being reflected in your dream content. 129. Dreams might sometimes reveal hidden talents or interests you weren't consciously aware of. People sometimes report discovering hidden talents or interests through dreams. They dream about doing something, and the dream reveals to them a capacity or interest they didn't know they had. A person might dream about painting and discover a passion for art. A person might dream about writing and discover a talent for storytelling. The dream serves as a kind of exploration of possibility. Your brain is simulating experiences and revealing to you what you're capable of or what you enjoy. The dream might motivate you to pursue the talent or interest in waking life. Dreams might be one way your brain communicates to you about your own capabilities and potentials that you haven't fully recognized. 130. Dreams might be influenced by your vocabulary and language patterns. Your dreams are generated by your brain using the concepts and language available to you. If you're multilingual, your dreams might mix languages or use the language of the dream context. If you have a rich vocabulary, your dreams might be more detailed and nuanced. If you're learning a new language, your dreams might include that language as you're integrating it. Your dreams reflect your linguistic capacity and your current language use. People who are highly verbal might have more detailed dream narratives. People who are less verbal might have more visual or emotional dreams. Your language patterns shape how your brain generates and experiences dreams. 131. Dreams might sometimes involve exploration of your shadow self or disowned aspects of yourself. In psychology, the shadow self refers to aspects of yourself that you don't want to acknowledge or that you actively reject. These might be negative traits you don't want to admit you have, or they might be desires and impulses you've been taught to suppress. Dreams might bring these disowned aspects to consciousness. You might dream about behaving in ways that go against your self-image. You might dream about experiencing desires you don't want to acknowledge. The dream is surfacing the shadow material. Upon waking, you might be disturbed or confused by what you dreamed. but the dream might be offering you an opportunity to integrate these disowned aspects into a more complete and honest self-understanding. Dreams can be challenging because they don't respect the persona you've constructed. 132. Dreams might include more accurate representations of yourself than your waking self-image. Your waking self-image might be distorted. You might overestimate or underestimate your abilities, your attractiveness, your intelligence, your kindness. Your self-image might be based on how you wish you were or how you fear you might be, rather than how you actually are. Your dreams might include more accurate representations of yourself. The way you represent yourself in your dreams might be closer to how you actually are. If you consistently dream of yourself as less capable than you actually are, that might reveal a self-perception issue. If you consistently dream of yourself as more capable than you actually are, that might also be revealing. Tracking how you represent yourself in dreams over time might give you insight into your actual self-perception versus your constructed self-image. 133. Dreams might serve a function in processing grief and loss. After experiencing loss, people often have dreams involving the lost person or object. These dreams might serve a function in processing the grief. The dreams might involve the lost person, or they might involve searching for them or trying to hold on to them. The dreams might be painful, or they might be comforting. Over time, as grief is processed, the dreams often change. They become less intense. They might shift from being about searching and loss to being about memories and integration. The dreams are part of the grief process. They allow your brain to process the loss repeatedly until the loss is integrated into your sense of reality. Dreams might be one of the mechanisms through which grief is gradually processed and the loss is accepted. 134. Dreams might be more likely to involve your current concerns than past concerns. Your dreams tend to focus on what's currently concerning you rather than what concerned you in the past. If you're currently dealing with a difficult work situation, you're likely to dream about work. If you recently resolved a past trauma, you're unlikely to still be dreaming about it. This suggests that dreams are closely tied to current psychological and emotional concerns. Your brain is processing what's currently relevant to you. This is one reason why dream content changes over time as your life circumstances change. Your dreams are a reflection of your current preoccupations and concerns. As your concerns shift, so does your dream content. 135. Dreams might sometimes include physical sensations that seem impossible or exaggerated. In dreams, you might experience sensations that seem amplified or exaggerated. Pain might feel more intense than it ever does in waking life. Pleasure might be more intense. Temperature extremes might feel more extreme. Physical sensations in dreams might be raw and unfiltered in ways they're not in waking life. This is partly because your brain is generating these sensations internally without real sensory input tempering the signal. The sensations can be pure and unmediated. Your brain can generate sensation at maximum intensity without the reality checking that waking sensory input provides. This is one reason why dreams can feel so vivid and intense, even when the dream content is relatively mundane. 136. Dreams might be influenced by your sense of control in waking life. Research suggests that people who feel they have little control in their waking lives might have different dream content than people who feel they have significant control. People feeling powerless in waking life might have more dreams where they're powerless or unable to control situations. People feeling in control might have more dreams where they can exert control. Dreams might be reflecting your actual sense of agency and control in your waking life. Alternatively, dreams might be compensatory, providing you with the sense of control you lack in waking life. The relationship between waking sense of control and dream content is complex, but there does seem to be a relationship. 137. Dreams might sometimes include wisdom or insight from aspects of yourself you're not consciously aware of. Your unconscious mind knows things your conscious mind doesn't. Your unconscious mind has access to all your memories, all your experiences, all your learning. Your unconscious mind might have insights or wisdom that your conscious mind hasn't reached. Dreams might be one way your unconscious mind communicates with your conscious mind. You might wake from a dream with a sudden insight or realization that you didn't consciously arrive at. The insight came from your unconscious mind, delivered through the dream. This is one of the ways dreams might be valuable. They're not just processing and consolidation. They're also communication from your deeper self to your conscious self. Your dreams might be offering you wisdom you didn't know you had. 138. Dreams might be influenced by your immune system and physical health. Your immune system is working constantly, fighting off infections and maintaining your health. When your immune system is actively fighting an infection, your sleep patterns might change. Your REM sleep might be affected. Your dreams might change. Some research suggests that fever dreams are more intense or more vivid. People with chronic health conditions often report changes in their dream patterns. Your overall physical health state influences your sleep quality and your dreams. If you're physically healthy and well-rested, your dreams might be different from dreams you have when you're fighting illness or exhaustion. Your dreams are influenced by your whole body state, not just your mental or emotional state. 139. Dreams might sometimes include prophetic elements that come true, though usually through unconscious influence. Occasionally, people report having dreams that came true. They dreamed something, and then it happened. The most likely explanation is not that dreams are truly prophetic, but that your brain anticipated the outcome based on subtle cues or patterns you weren't consciously aware of. Your brain knows you better than you know yourself. It knows your patterns, your tendencies, your likely responses. It might anticipate what will happen based on this deep self-knowledge. The dream might reveal this anticipation. It's not prophecy, it's your brain's sophisticated pattern matching and prediction capability revealing itself through dreams. This is still remarkable. Your brain is capable of unconscious prediction and anticipation. 140. Dreams might serve as emotional release or catharsis for feelings you can't express in waking life. In dreams, you might experience emotions intensely or express emotions in ways you can't in waking life. You might be angry or sad or joyful in ways that feel too intense or inappropriate for waking social contexts. The dreams provide a space where these emotions can be fully experienced and expressed. This emotional catharsis might be beneficial. By fully experiencing the emotion in the dream, you might process it more completely than you could in waking life, where you're constrained by social norms and self-regulation. The dream serves as an emotional release valve. You can express and experience what you need to express and experience without real-world consequences. You've now explored 140 aspects of dreams and sleep, diving deeply into each one. 140 different angles on the nightly landscape that your brain traverses every single night of your life. 140 insights into something you experience but rarely fully understand. From the moment you fall asleep until you wake, your brain is engaged in activities that remain largely mysterious despite centuries of scientific study. Your dreams are being forgotten and remembered in equal measure. Your brain is consolidating memories, processing emotions, rehearsing scenarios, revealing hidden truths about yourself, doing work that serves functions we're only beginning to understand, and possibly generating experiences that are remarkable simply for their own sake. Each night adds to the archive of dream experiences you've accumulated throughout your life. Thousands upon thousands of dreams, most of them forgotten, all of them real experiences happening in your brain. You are a dreaming creature. Dreaming is woven into what you fundamentally are. For as long as you sleep, you will dream. And for most of those dreams, you'll never know what happened during them. They'll fade, leaving only the faintest traces, impressions, emotions that linger, insights that surface without you knowing why, wisdom from your deeper self reaching toward your conscious awareness. But they'll still be there, still doing their work, still shaping how your brain processes and integrates your experience, still consoling you, challenging you, surprising you, disturbing you, fascinating you, still revealing you to yourself in ways you didn't expect. There's a profound mystery in that, a profound mystery and a profound comfort. Your brain knows what to do. It doesn't need your conscious participation or understanding. It just does its work, night after night, century after century, for all of human history and probably for millions of years before that. Dreams are part of you. They've been part of your species for as long as you've had this kind of brain. They've carried meaning for cultures throughout history, even if the meanings were different. They'll probably remain largely mysterious, even as science continues to illuminate more and more about them. There will always be something about dreams that escapes full understanding, some hidden corner of the dream landscape that remains unmapped, some quality of the dream experience that no amount of neuroscience can fully capture or explain. And that's okay. Some things are better left a little mysterious. Some things are better left to the night. Some things are better left to your dreaming mind, which knows things your waking mind can never fully know. So rest well, sleep deeply, your dreams are waiting.